I think I know all of you. I've met you all, so I'm not going to give some formal introduction. But I will just give you a little bit of information about my residency project. I'm doing my doctorate in occupational therapy at Belmont. So our last semester is our residency project, where we choose an organization in the community that we want to work with. And I chose Teach for America. My bachelor's degree is in elementary education, so that's kind of why I chose kind of the education route. So met with Lindsay probably about a year and a half ago now. It was a long time ago. Doesn't seem that far. And so we started planning this project, and so today I'm going to kind of talk about what I found, and we'll go from there. All right, here's a little overview of what we're going to talk about today. I'll go through my introduction, the aims of this study with my learning goals and research questions, methodology, findings, discussion, and implications, and we'll do a little wrap-up and have some questions at the end. Okay, so the research defines mentoring as a developmental process designed to support and navigate the novice educator through the tasks and experiences of education. Literature states that mentorship is the single most influential way to successfully develop new faculty, reaping the benefits of recruitment, retention, and long-term maturation of future mentors. Numerous studies have documented the benefits of mentoring to support beginning teachers as they enter the new teaching profession. So, for example, one study found that new teachers who were assigned mentors as they began their teaching profession expressed greater satisfaction with their induction experiences than new teachers who did not have a mentor. And another study linked new teachers' success in the classroom with mentor support. So, other research associates mentoring with reduced attrition, demonstrating that a mentor's assistance can affect whether or not they stay in the profession. So the purpose of this study was to explore the mentoring process that occurs between you, MTLDs, and core members, your level of comfort in working with students with special needs, and your core members' level of comfort in working with students with special needs, and then the resources that are available to you and your core members on that topic. In developing the study, I developed 3 learning goals to kind of guide my study. The first is to explore the mentoring process between MTLDs and core members in TFA. Second, to create a report to present to TFA that includes the findings of the research and recommendations for enhancing the existing mentoring process. And to advocate for TFA core members by understanding your needs, acknowledging your potential for success, and providing resources that will aid them in becoming successful educators. That is also MTLDs, not just core members. Here's my 4 research questions that we will go into a little bit more. 1, what does the mentoring process between MTLDs and TFA core members entail? Second, what does the literature suggest is best practice in regards to mentoring? Third, what experiences do MTLDs have in regards to working with children with special needs? And fourth, what information and resources are currently available to MTLDs about working with children with special needs that you can share with your core members? Now I'm going to go over the methodology for the study. The population of interest for the study consisted of a convenience sample of MTLDs currently employed at Teach for America in Greater Nashville, San Antonio, St. Louis, and Miami. And now onto the measures. I developed the 25-question survey that you all participated in, and the questionnaire explored the role of an MTLD, the training and resources that you all receive in preparation for your duties as an MTLD, the training and resources provided to the core members and to you all on working with students with special needs. Observations were also used in order to just get a more holistic view of the mentoring process. And finally, informal interviews were conducted with a few of the MTLDs and also a few core members and TFA alums who have taught special education in order to just get, again, a more holistic view. This was a mixed method study that gathered quantitative, qualitative, and observational data. Now on to the findings. We'll just go over some demographics. The survey itself yielded 27 participants, ages 24 to 32 years old. 1 participant was from the West region, 2 represented the Midwest, 9 the Southwest, and 15 in the Southeast. This table here displays the demographics regarding how long I'm sorry, the format got a little bit messed up. Participants have been working as an MTLD. So 22 of the MTLDs who took the survey have been an MTLD for 0 to 2 years, and 4 have been an MTLD for 3 to 5 years. And then table 2 shows the demographics on the years of teaching experience of the MTLDs who took the survey. So 10 MTLDs have had 0 to 2 years of teaching experience, 14 have 3 to 5 years, and 2 have 6 to 10 years of teaching experience. All right, so now we're going to go back to my research questions and discuss the findings for each of those. The first one, what does the mentoring process between MTLDs and TFA core members entail? So in looking at the training and preparation aspect of this, 9 participants who took the survey reported that they did not receive mentoring or leadership training prior to beginning their job as an MTLD, and 5 of those 9 were from Greater Nashville. 20 participants reported that they would recommend changes to how they were prepared as MTLDs. This table here breaks down the qualitative data from the question on the survey. In hindsight, what would you change regarding the preparation you received to become a mentor? So I extracted this and hand-coded it into 4 different themes. The first theme is expectations and responsibilities. MTLDs felt like they could have more clearly defined role expectations about their job as an MTLD, fewer non-mentoring related duties at first, and more time to focus on coaching. The second theme is feedback. They commented on the need for more consistent feedback on their role and their performance on their role. And then time to talk and debrief with more experienced MTLDs. The third theme is instructional materials. This was in MTLDs who attended a leadership training prior to starting their job as an MTLD had stated that they would have liked it to be less vision-oriented and more technical training, and to include things like video examples of coaching, role-playing, case studies, opportunities to observe. And the last theme is content. So these were things that they felt they needed to learn more about before starting as an MTLD, addressing core member mindsets, individualizing coaching instruction to their specific learning styles of their core members, technical training, and managing and teaching adult learners. Now back to instructional methods. Okay. So of the 18 participants who received training, they reported that they were trained using lecture, PowerPoint, group discussion, things like that. But results show that there was no relationship between the learning style of MTLDs and the instructional methods used to prepare them as mentors. So in other words, participants who received training prior to starting their role as an MTLD were not, the training was not intentionally designed for their specific learning style. All right. Now on to the advising piece. So MTLDs who took the survey have mentored an average of 34 core members in their entire tenure as an MTLD, ranging from 20 to 100. This table shows the demographics on grades and subjects taught by MTLDs and core members. And the results of this show that there was no relationship between how MTLDs and core members are matched based on grade or subject, so they're not intentionally matched based on grade or subject matter that they've taught. Right. And now on to communication styles. One MTLD reported spending 6 to 10 hours mentoring each core member per academic year. 2 spend 11 to 15 hours, and 24 MTLDs spend greater than 15 hours mentoring each core member. And they reported that this is dependent on the core member's needs. Table 5 shows the breakdown of communication styles used when mentoring core members. So 48.5% of the time, MTLDs used in-person mentoring. Question 2. What does the literature suggest is best practice in regards to mentoring? So this was kind of the second component of my research, was doing a literature review to find best practice on mentoring and mentoring programs. Alright, so the first component to effective mentoring is setting clear expectations for the program within the mentor-mentee relationship and for administrators at the school in order to ensure that all members involved understand the program and its goals. Providing a clear definition of MTLD roles as mentor will ensure that they understand their job requirements. And additionally, setting clear guidelines, expectations, and requirements for the relationship between the mentor and the mentee, so for members and MTLDs, helps to prevent ambiguity and uncertainty and further ensures success. And finally, informing school administration about the program is also important. Research suggests that an annual orientation to discuss with school principals and administration about the benefits and the goals of the program can help to ensure its success and that it's supported in the schools as well. The second component is the initial training and ongoing support of mentors. The research suggests that these following topics be covered in mentor training prior to them starting their role. The stages of development of the novice teacher, the emotional and professional needs of the novice teachers, adult learning theory, effective methods of observation and systematic observation tools to quickly identify potential or existing problems and identify solutions, effective communication methods, and different coaching models. And additionally, ongoing workshops throughout their tenure as an MTLD can act as a forum for MTLDs to talk and discuss things together and collaborate. Thirdly, the research overwhelmingly agrees that one key to a successful program is finding the best fit between the needs, talents, and personalities of mentors and mentees. One study reported that teachers who were matched with their mentors based on subject were significantly less likely to leave their position after the first year. In order to create the best fit, another study suggested having mentors and mentees take a Myers-Briggs personality assessment to determine the compatibility of their personality, temperament, and ideology. And additional research states that an effective mentoring relationship is based on the understanding of individual learning styles of those being mentored and then applying that knowledge to designing useful mentoring. Those authors write, mentoring begins and ends with exploring and validating each individual gifts and ends with exploring and learning styles, and that creates the cornerstone for effective mentoring. Alright, sorry, this slide is kind of long. The next one is creating logistics that are conducive to the mentor-mentee relationship, which is a little bit different than the research states for you all because of the separate TFA. But providing mentors and mentees schedules that allow common planning time and opportunities to observe each other is one of the strongest components of good mentoring programs. With opportunities for mentees to observe their mentors, they're able to model effective instructional methods that are tailored specifically to that core member's needs. One author suggests that it's crucial to ensure mentors and teachers are supported with resources and time to work together in meaningful activities. All right, next on to mentee training. Research agrees that the most common challenges faced by new teachers are classroom management, working with parents and communicating effectively with parents, navigating school operations and district policies, differentiating instruction, and assessment. So providing seminars that cover these topics, professional development and services, allow for additional training in these areas, and it also provides kind of a forum for new teachers to talk with each other and feel a little more like they're not alone, they're not isolated in those things. All right, next, research emphasizes the importance of seeking evaluation from outside sources in order to ensure that the program is based on sound research and best practice. So for example, I read multiple articles that documented various mentoring programs that partnered with local universities to come in and evaluate their programs. Evaluation instruments should focus on perceptions of the effectiveness of the program, as well as attitudes towards job satisfaction, efficacy, and commitment. And lastly, the research reports that 3 years is the most preferable time frame given the time it takes for beginning teachers to develop a professional identity and a consolidated professional practice. So one study reports that strong induction programs have a multi-year time frame and a developmental stance, because that often results in very different programs in the second and third years. Okay, moving on to the third question. What experience do MTLDs have in regards to working with children with special needs? So the results of my research reported that 3 MTLDs who took the survey have experience teaching special education, and 0 of those participants were from the greater Nashville area. And it also kind of has been stated that there's no full-time special education content specialist at greater Nashville. This table displays the demographics from the survey. The question was, how confident do you feel in regards to working with students with special needs? MTLDs responded that they feel, 2 of them said that they feel not at all confident, 14 feel somewhat confident, 9 feel very, and 2 feel totally confident working with children with special needs. And then the second question they answered was, in general, how confident do your core members feel in regards to working with special needs, students with special needs? So 12 MTLDs said that their core members generally feel not at all confident. 12 somewhat, 3 very, and 0 totally confident. All right. And the fourth question, what information and resources are currently available to mentors about working with children with special needs that they can share with their advisees? Okay, so when faced with a special education related issue, MTLDs are able to access an online content community. You all know all of this. So it's a discussion board that offers general suggestions and tips for working with students with special needs. And then there's also content courses and professional development sponsored throughout the year by special education teachers in the community on this topic. Okay, now on to the discussion and implications. So I've kind of broken this up into 2 different categories. The first is more administrative and structural kind of recommendations for the program. So I'm going to go through that a little bit more quickly because it's not as applicable to you all. But the first is that MTLDs be provided with clear expectations and more frequent feedback regarding their job as mentors. One participant noted in their survey, it would be helpful to have more clarity of expectations of my role, along with consistent feedback on my performance regarding those expectations. Secondly, the addition of a technical training program would be beneficial for MTLDs to complete prior to starting. 5 of the greater Nashville participants did not attend an initial training prior to starting as an MTLD, and 1 MTLD who did participate in the TFA-led orientation reported it was more vision-oriented training instead of technical. I didn't find this helpful at all. And an additional 15 respondents commented on the need for technical training to address their actual job responsibilities. Thirdly, the survey results indicate that MTLDs and core members are not intentionally matched based on grade and subject. And so matching core members with MTLDs who have teaching experience in the same grade or subject matter can help core members to feel like their mentoring relationship is more specifically designed towards their needs. As one study reported, new teachers who have a mentor from the same field are significantly less likely to leave after the first year. And next, on to special education. As 5 MTLDs at Greater Nashville expressed, core members would benefit from an increased emphasis on proactive training to address working with students with special needs, more in like the institute instead of feeling more like it's a reactive thing. And TFA would also benefit from the addition of an MTLD or full-time content specialist with extensive experience in special education. Participants expressed a high need in this area. And finally, through the use of evaluation instruments by an external party focused on core member perceptions of the effectiveness of the program as well as attitudes towards job satisfaction, TFA could evaluate their effectiveness and provoke ongoing improvement. Alright, so now moving on towards what's geared a little bit more towards you as MTLDs. The 2 major components that emerged from the research as needing improvement were tailoring instructional methods to individual learning styles and then the area of working with students with special needs. So the research states that exploring and validating each individual's gifts and unique learning styles creates the cornerstone and formation of mentoring. So I think that this is something that can easily be implemented with you all when you're working with your core members, just working with them to give them materials, design their instruction in a way that they're going to learn best is obviously going to be more helpful for them. And then the next major area for improvement is the topic of working with students with special needs. And another table. The question on the survey, how frequently have each of the following issues been raised during the mentoring process as a problem encountered in the classroom in regards to working with students with special needs? So these were from the literature, these were the most problematic areas for new teachers over here on your left. And so on average, the survey results said that 51.9% of the time, behavior in classroom management is almost always a problem. Again, 51.9% of the time, differentiating instruction is almost always a problem for new teachers. So I ranked these into like what you all said was the most frequently occurring problems, and that was in order from most to least was classroom and behavior management, differentiating instruction, designing instruction to address goals, setting appropriate academic goals, understanding student diagnosis and implications for classroom learning, legal expectations and ramifications, and then writing an IEP. So using that data, I kind of went into my research, all of my materials online, and gathered online websites, handouts, videos, and PowerPoints on each of these and created a booklet for you. Of course, like a forgetful person in a rush, I forgot the booklet with me, but I've emailed it all to you. So you all have it and can have it on your computers, and then I'll drop off the binder. It's just in a hard copy. I'll drop it off at the office for you all to have there as well. And we're going to talk about the booklet in just a minute. So just to talk about the limitations to the study, data was collected from a small sample size, just 27 participants. So initially the target population was all MTLDs nationally, but unfortunately due to time constraints and approval processes, the population was reduced to just those 4 cities that I talked about earlier. So instead of having a much larger pool to elicit participants from, we just have 4. So therefore the results should not be generalized past the sample size. And then now on to recommendations for future research. This would be if somebody wanted to pick up where I left off. These would be some ways that they could do that. Obviously, expanding the study to nationwide, all MTLDs would provide more validity and generalizability to the results. And then comparing mentoring practices between different cities could be really beneficial. Seeing what everyone's doing and then using the best practices from all of those could really make everything stronger. And then conducting a pre-test, post-test study of a training program. So pilot a training program with MTLDs, do the pre-test validity of how their mentoring is, and then do post-test would also help in designing a training program that would be more beneficial to you all. And then finally, targeting core members would help to understand the perceived efficacy of mentoring to those who are being mentored. Alright, and we're going to go back to the booklet. We already went over that table, but I would want to kind of take a little bit of time for you all to look through the booklet that you all have emailed. Just to see if it's helpful. I use, again, the survey results, but I know that everybody wants different things, so any feedback on that would be great. And that's about it. I'll just go through if you want some light reading during the free time. Have all my references. And then any questions. So if you all want to look through the booklet and any questions that you all may have, feel free. Thank you Quincy and Drew for kind of being my expert mentors and letting me do the project.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We were spending a little bit of time to ask questions. Is
Yeah.
Yep. Whether based on the presentation or.
Yes.
Yep. So maybe,
There was one table in particular that had core member and MTLD, because that was a survey given to us, right? It wasn't surveyed directly, yeah, I think you just passed it. That was when, it wasn't, yeah.
This
that
one?
was-
Yeah.
That one wasn't given to core member, right? That was like
No.
us reporting about
Yes.
teachers and
Yes.
about.
Mhm.
Sorry, that was like small.
No, that's great.
Is that, yeah, I was wondering, I would assume it'd probably be very similar to that, something directly.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see how that matched.
I really don't know.
How different do you feel like the mentoring processes were different between the cities?
That's interesting. I didn't go into specific cities. I looked specifically at Greater Nashville,
Okay.
but my data summaries and everything were all run together, and then I pulled out Greater Nashville just to report to you all. But I didn't do that for each individual city.
Dallas was also in there. There was a, right,
Yes.
there was no year that
Did I not mention that?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dallas
so there
was
was
in there
five.
too.
There were five.
Yes. Their results were all, and theirs for some reason they got sent the wrong survey link, but yeah, it was all. Sorry about that. Yes.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So I represent the university, and when the special ed core members come in, the first two classes they have to take are methods and law. So I'm hoping that we can take some credit for what we're seeing on the IEPs and the comfort with the law
Yeah.
and everything. I'm like, but the methods part of that obviously is a place where we need to take more responsibility. And they go through a more rigorous process than any other core member because they can't actually advance their license like other core members can in the spring. They have to actually go an extra semester like through Morton and all that. So I just didn't know if they mentioned that at all, because I do think that in the partnership that the university is trying to do some of, like, we redesigned the special ed program so that we could address that, because at first they were coming in and just taking initial licensure classes with everybody else, like really general classes, and then they didn't know how to write an IEP, so then we pushed that back. Was there any feedback on that? Did you get?
I really didn't I didn't really talk to core members at all, because this was more towards MTLDs, but there were a few that did mention, we get some through Lipscomb, and then there was, somebody had commented, like, that might be interesting to see, what they're getting through Lipscomb and how much that is helping, and so I didn't go into that just because of time constraints, but that was definitely, it was mentioned as them getting it through Lipscomb.
But I think so, yeah. I would take from this that we need to bolster our methods, and that it looks like we're doing a lot. Would y'all kind of say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because legal expectations and ramifications was not one of the higher. Only 3.7% of the MTLDs said that legal was almost always an issue, so that was not, and writing an IEP was really well.
I'm gonna.
Let's hear that face the hard
Yeah.
case.
Well, and see,
Taking a course.
they can stop their experience in the sense that they don't take those two courses and get their And so, maybe even the ones who take spring, it'd be interesting that they feel that like they took the two spring courses.
And I can, if anybody wants this PowerPoint, I can send it out, and then I have a final written report, it's like 20 pages, so, I don't want you to feel like you have to read it. But yeah, I can send this out, and,
That'd be great.
yeah.
Yes, I know your document as well.
Yeah, this booklet is awesome.
Yeah.
Good, I hope it's helpful.
Yeah.
Can you do that for DLL and?
Hallie and I were just talking about this other night about how, because we're like overhearing a core member conversation and just thinking about like, one of the areas is setting appropriate academic goals. And I think I noticed that as a very like big deficiency of myself this year when I support one special ed teacher. And we're like realizing in our conversations that I was like, I don't know, like kind of just not being aware of what is appropriate and definitely an area of development for myself, I think, so.
And then the that to then the like behavior management and modifying classroom instruction. If we're like shaky on setting, like having an idea of what's even appropriate,
Yeah.
it can be hard to plan towards that. That makes sense.
I think for me, like big one was, and like the core member said, I support in special ed, because we're in southeast Nashville, was the difference between like a ELO issue and a special education issue, and then how that interplays with the new laws that are coming through in MTS.
That is RTS weird.
What as like the expert or the researcher here, like, what did you learn of? You learned all of this, right? You learned a lot of stuff. But what is your kind of big takeaway reflection from kind of what you thought you were going to get out of this original project and what you're taking away from it?
I think pretty much, I mean, obviously I didn't know all the specific components to effective mentoring programs, but in learning about your all's program, I feel like it's like I start on this path like, okay, what is this? And then it's like this and this and this and this and this and this. And that's kind of, that was a challenge for me, and I feel like just with just 4 months to do it is hard. So I almost, I would have liked to have more time to like really fully, because I even still don't feel like I completely understand like every aspect of the mentoring processes that take place. So, and that's why I initially didn't plan on doing informal interviews. I just planned on doing the surveys and the observations, like the ride-alongs and the school visits. But as I was getting my survey results back and then talking to you all and doing some school visits, I was like, there's way more to this than what I'm getting in the surveys. So I felt like that was something that I needed to add in, just